Okay, hi. I'm in Home Designer Essentials 2014. I picked this one because, well, I could have picked suite or architectural or interiors or deck and lawn designer. They're all about equal ability relative to roofs. Anyway, I'm going to put a gable roof on this rectangle by telling that wall to have a full gable over it. Until this wall, the same thing, the same order or directive. For this demonstration, I don't care what the pitch is. I can set the default 812. We'll open this up, build roof. Yeah, it's set to 8. And let's see, where's the auto rebuild roofs command? I don't see it. Well, I don't use Essentials all the time. We'll just build that and move on. Okay. I don't think the elevation camera works very good in Essentials. Yeah, okay, that's fine. So you can see that the gable is centered over the two walls, and that's what the auto generator will do. It's going to set the height of the roof. Let me go back to plan view here. It's going to set the height off the floor based on this ceiling height setting here. It's set to, well, basically 9 feet. So if I uncheck that and set that to 10 feet, okay, you see what happens here is that the ceiling of the room was raised, but the roofs didn't automatically regenerate. And this is kind of a general, I'm trying to show you how the software is designed to work, not perhaps how it should work or how you and I might want it to work, but just how it does work. I'm going to go here to camera, and you can see now that the ceiling's coffered a little bit on the left and the right, because I raised the ceiling after the roofs are built, and now the ceiling's at a 10-foot plate, but the roofs are still at the 9-foot plate where they were originally built. Okay? So if I want this at a 10-foot plate, I just need to rebuild roofs and order that built again. See those dashed lines go away, and the roofs now have been raised to a 10-foot plate. This is now a 10-foot ceiling, and so there's no coffering at the edges. Now this is kind of preparatory to putting a porch on here, but you have to kind of understand what your tools are, generally speaking, to really make this software work for you. I'm going to set this back to where it was by just checking defaults. And I never went over to edit default settings and told it to be anything other than this setting here, and that's what it's doing. The software can be depended upon to always follow these default settings and nothing else, no matter what you want to do. So you understand that, then you work with them, and they help you get your work done instead of being an opponent for you. But they're all over here under default settings. And in an earlier post today, I mentioned that these settings here under materials control what the software is going to do. Also, I think there's an exterior wall setting here. Maybe there isn't in Essentials. I guess there isn't. Okay, there it is. Walls exterior. So that's why the auto-generated attic walls will show this material here, because that's what they're set to under material defaults. So even though I'm drawing with this kind of wall, oh, I see. It is that kind of wall, isn't it? Okay. If I was to take these walls here and change the material, exterior finish, we'll change that to just something else. That blue one. Okay. Now I'm going to, now I can't shift select the walls. I'm doing one at a time. Change it that, this here. I'm just arbitrarily changing the, you don't have to do this one at a time. I could do it also by just opening one of these walls here. Excuse me. And Well, okay, this is probably how you do it in Essentials. Okay, now I've arbitrarily set everything to blue, but the green is still set as the system defaults, and that's what the software is going to do. Now, if I go over here to edit default settings, excuse me for this little excursion here, but I think it's useful for new users. We'll set this to that blue siding. And I'm going to go back to the camera view I have open, and my computer's a little slow in getting the message. Oh, okay. I guess it's not retroactive. Anyway, any new walls that I would create would go to this blue color. But hopefully this is some of you newer users that are get mystified by why does the software do what it does. Well, this will help show you that it's just a machine and it's just following settings. And that it's not magical. It doesn't have any intelligence. It doesn't have any judgment. It's just something for you to control. Now I can see there's still a little green over here, and that's in the on the attic level or A level. That's this wall here, and that little error message was telling me that I'm doing what I'm doing, opening an attic wall. But see, it's got that old green material on it. But like I told the other poster, you can just do what I'm doing here, open the dialog box, and then make the changes that fit what you're doing. And if I'd done this in the beginning, I wouldn't have to do this manually. And set the defaults where they'd match. Okay, now on to the main purpose of this tutorial. We'll go ahead and do a dollhouse view. Yeah, so and now everything's blue. Okay. Now onto the porch. Okay, I'm going to use we'll use, straight railing. I'm going to draw a porch over here. I don't think the depth of the porch is going to make a difference. Let's make it realistic. 16 feet is not very realistic. Let's use something like 8 feet, a little more human size. And you notice that, of course, I don't have auto rebuild roofs on, but now that I've created a room here, we'll go to the structure tab and see that a roof will be allowed here and a ceiling is allowed. But if I just build the roofs now without telling exactly what I want, let's just see what the software will do without any guidance. And that's what it does, something goofy. And it's not only goofy from the standpoint if I didn't control it, I didn't tell it what to do. Now I'm going to go through the steps to straighten this up. You can see the gable roof is still centered on the building. So I'm going to hit Shift F6 to tile the screens. I don't want that in view. Now I hit Shift F6. There we go. So you can watch this develop. Okay, get rid of this goofy roof, directive at a time. So when you want a porch roof, you have to get the side walls and tell them what kind of situation you want. So I'll go to the roof tab and tell that I want a full gable wall there and a full gable wall here. Now it's not automatically generated because I don't have auto build roofs on because I'm using Essentials, and Essentials doesn't have that tool. Okay, don't be fooled. Okay, so the only two changes was I told this wall and this wall to be full gable walls. And now this wall here, I'm going to open its dialog box, go to the roof tab, and tell it to not have an 812 pitch over it, but have a 112 pitch. And I did that in an input there and I click OK. You can see there's no changes until I manually order those changes to be built here doing this. Now I'm just going to click OK. And now it overcompensated. Now we got a 112 roof starting from here and an 812 roof back here. And if this is any example of what I just said, this is just a mechanical device that follows orders. Well, this is a perfect example of how that's true. So what I'm going to do is go back over here to this wall here, which controls this 112 roof that's being generated, and pull that over here. And see what we can do. Yeah, this is what I'm going to do here. I'm going to click on this upper, and I want the upper pitch. This is basically allowing you to tell over this wall for two different roof planes to build. And I want the first one at 112 and the second one at 812, because that matches to this one over here. And then this is how I get symmetry, these settings here. Let's just roll it with these settings here and see what it does. Oh, okay. And it did exactly what the settings are for there. Now, this attic wall is kind of distressing because I changed the default, but it's no big deal. But now it's kind of centered on the entire span here from here to here and not really on this span from here to here. And I think that's what the original poster was talking about, is to get how do you get this center over here? And it's by jockeying this setting here. I'm going to go back to that wall. And right now this is set at 118 height, and that you can see that it's going from 112 to 812 right at that point, which is 118 inches above the floor there. So what I want is for this 112 to stop right about here. I'm going to measure what that distance is from the edge of that wall there to there, and it's about 8 feet. So I'm going to open this up and go to the roof tab, and see the in from the baseline there? It's currently set to 0. I want it 8 feet in. 8 feet. Okay, now I'll go back and rebuild the roofs, and so that we'll get a compliance on those new commands that I put in. Oh, that's a lot closer. You see what's going on? Now, if you want this perfect, then it would take you a few tries and perhaps being smarter with mathematics than I am. But you see the process. Now this is beginning to center up like the guy wanted, and we got a porch. And of course, this doesn't have to be 112. I just picked that arbitrarily. Let's reset it to 312. 312 would shed water and snow and so forth better than 112. And when I changed this automatically changed. I'm not sure why, but again, it's up to me to control it. Not just saying, oh, the software did so and so. No, you control it. Let's see, I'll set that to 8 feet. And then rebuild. Okay. And you'd have to draw a center line over here using CAD tools. I don't know if Central has CAD tools. Yeah, okay, enough. We'll just use an arrow. And then you could dimension this line here to get a center point, to make sure that the ridge is actually on the center point. There'll be a way for you to control. Any of you whiners out there would say, well, how come it isn't easier? Well, I don't know. A lot of this stuff, it just looks like work to me. You know, you have a specific effect you want, and then you work to make sure that that effect is created. Okay, now I think that's not going to my line, that's going to the ridge. You know, move that over to the line. And then now we can look at those dimensions there and find the true center. That's pretty close. So this needs to move to the left a little bit. And that's, within 1/8 of an inch of the center, so that's close enough. We'll go over here and open that up, go to the roof tab. And we'll change this figure here. I would think I want it to move a little bit outboard, so I'm going to move that to 84 inches. And we'll rebuild roofs and see if that doesn't move it closer to where we want it. It didn't look like a thing changed, except it did move further out. Okay, I guess this brings up a point. If you want this ridge arbitrarily over here in the center, then there's other settings you can change as well. Like one of them is the ceiling height of the porch. It's set to the default for the entire floor. We can change that to, we'll change it to 96 inches. And then rebuild. Look at that. That change moved it almost dead nuts to the center. And I was just guessing. And my recommendation to you guys when you're doing this, I don't know of any set formulas to do this. I just know that you use the tools that you have under your fingers and to get the job done. And so you can use ceiling heights to change the geometry of roofs. You can change, like I said, this setting here for a second pitch, building over a particular wall. Just to finish this up, I'm going to straighten up the, let me zoom in over here on this screen. We'll just use the eyedropper rather than opening dialog boxes there. And straighten up those materials. Let's see, where's the, I want to rotate the camera. I don't see the command. I don't use Essentials all the time. Sorry about that. It's I don't see how to rotate this stinking camera view. Oh, there it is. I see it now. All right. I figured it would be the same on this end. Okay. So anyway, to finish this up, so there's one more step. We'll take this wall here, and I'm going to reprogram it. We'll go to the rail style and tell it to be, I don't think we need rails here, so we'll just turn the rail off. But we'll use post overhead beam. You'll see that occur there. I don't need that extra post there. That's over on, I click on that, open that wall up, and we'll go over to ballast newel spacing and change that to 3,000, to some large figure that will get rid of that center post. And then I'm going to redraw. We'll just draw over, whoops. Oh, okay. I keep forgetting I'm in Essentials. Some of the things I'm spoiled about doing in Chief Architect, for instance, that you can't do. We'll go over here. We'll just do this by the numbers. We'll do that. And post overhead beam, no rail. You see that going to compliance there, and then this wall here. Post overhead beam, no rail. And we can leave the OC on center spacing for the newels. I'm going to set it to, well, I'm going to set it to 11 feet. And it's probably a little more realistic. But hopefully this will give you an idea of how you can use the existing tools to get the geometry to function in a way that, as a designer, to get the ended up. I'm kind of tongue-tied this morning. End up with what you want to end up with. And I hope this helps some people. Thank you. Good day.